Okay, hello everyone. I'm glad you could join. Today we're going to go 10 steps of how to plan your crisis, knowing that everyone is passing through the same situation, but I know that we all deal with our issues differently. I wanted to give you a practical solution to how we can all just solve our problems in a very scientific, logical and reasonable way. And therefore, I wanted to share my personal experience on a professional level and on a personal level. I'm going to start sharing my screen, my presentation. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to write them in the chat box. I can see them. I will be talking for 40 or 45 minutes about the 10 steps, and then we'll be taking your questions at the end of the session. I want you to know that the first 5 steps are the cornerstones and the basics of the webinar. And the last 5 steps are more practical solutions and notions on skills we need to acquire whenever we are facing a crisis or whenever we're planning anything in business or on a personal level. So here we go. I'll start sharing my screen now. Let me know if you can see my screen. Okay, thank you. Okay, so to start with, I want you to know that crisis can be anything. It could be you fighting with your neighbor because your dog is over barking. True story, by the way. And it could be you facing COVID-19. It could be anything that is making you feel uncertain, anxious, or chaotic. And it is called crisis because it is usually unannounced and we are unprepared for it. And we have a very, very short time to respond to that. And this is why we are having a lot of losses with COVID-19 because we don't have a solution for that now. Now, whenever the crisis comes again, or we're facing it again, sometimes it's no longer called a crisis because we already have the solution for it. But as long as we have no solution for it, we are not prepared, it's catching us by surprise, then it's definitely a crisis. Let's move through the steps. Okay, so step number 1 is what? Step number 1 is acknowledging that I have a crisis, because many of us live denial. We live that we have nothing to fear, there's nothing wrong. No, we do need to acknowledge that we do have a crisis and it is affecting us. Whenever we acknowledge that we have a problem, we have found half the solution, because whenever we think that we have nothing, we will not be able to find that solution. So acknowledging the problem and acknowledging that we have a situation that is not planned and that we're not prepared for it, we will start finding the problem. So step number 1 is assessing your current situation and position during crisis. Where do I stand today? How is this affecting me directly or indirectly, whether on a personal or on a professional level? And I would like to remind you that everything we're talking about today goes for your personal and for your professional life. What are my current losses? What am I losing? How is it really hurting me? And what are my current and future risks? Now, a proper assessment will lead the way, because if we don't have a proper assessment, we will not be able to find the solution. Step number 2 in building your crisis plan is actually starting to write it down. Whenever I'm writing it down, it has to go within a personal and a professional level, because one can affect the other and will affect the other, and therefore we need to have balance. For example, when we first started COVID-19, I have 2 girls. They started waking up at 12, at 11. They started eating at any time. Snacks were open for everyone. And then I looked at the chaos, and I looked at my kids, and I looked at myself after a week, and I said, this doesn't look like a paid vacation. And I'm definitely not seeing the beach. So let's change that. Let's do something more efficient. If I plan to have a lazy quarantine, let it be, but it doesn't have to be like this. I need to acknowledge it's a lazy quarantine. And then I had a schedule set for my family. We wake up at 9 or 8:30. We have breakfast at 9. We sit to study from 10 till 1. And then we have our lunch. And so we planned everything. And it turned out to be better. We even got dressed after a week. The first week, as you all noticed, we all stayed with our PJs and with our comfortable clothes. And then we felt this is not us. It's affecting us. It's not a vacation. And therefore, I started planning everything. And I came up with this plan, knowing that I come from a managerial background. Therefore, I balanced the professional and the personal life. And at all cases, you have to balance those two. So you have 3 choices. And everything in life is about choices. So the first choice is to do nothing, to be passive. You can just sit around, say someone else will find the solution for COVID-19. It's not my problem. Someone else will find the solution for me not going to work. It's not a problem. But this is not really efficient. You can do it. It's always a choice, but you will have to also deal with the consequences that come with that. Step number 2, which is you being active. You being active means you dealing with the present, you taking action today, dealing with the circumstances of today. So I can take action and I'll be dealing with the present. And usually when we have crisis, we deal with the present. We don't really look for future solutions. We do deal with the present because we weren't prepared for it in crisis. And step number 3 is being proactive. Being proactive means having a vision of future consequences and circumstances. You can have a vision. For example, if today we're facing a problem with food, people are starving. Today, I have to ensure that I'm bringing enough food for everyone. But to be proactive for next time, I will start really investing in agriculture. I will start teaching people how to harvest and how to reap. So this is why you have 3 options, and everything is about options. You choose. Do you want to be passive? Do you want to be active? Or do you want to be proactive? In crisis, I'm definitely active, but I can be proactive for next time. Step number 3 is prioritizing. Of course, prioritizing is something very, very essential, and it is a cornerstone for everything else. Now, to prioritize, I will share my techniques. First of all, you have to list all your tasks and your responsibilities. Listing them will give you a clear view of what you should be doing. Then you identify them, urgent versus important. So you have 2 columns. You first list them, then you divide them into 2 columns. One is urgent and one is important. Because while they might be important, they might not be urgent. So you deal with those that are urgent first, and then you move to the important ones. Then you assess the value. You rate the needed efforts. Do I have enough resources? Do I have what I need to accomplish that step that I just mentioned? Then you have to be flexible and adaptive enough. And being flexible and adaptive mean you being able to catch up quickly with what is happening and changing to your contingency plan if you have a plan, to realize that I have to say no. If it's not important, if it's not urgent, if it's not helping me deal with my crisis, it can wait. I will not accept that on my list. It can wait, it will wait, I will deal with that later on. Having the courage to do that will make you more efficient and will make you someone with higher levels of decision making. And then a friend of mine texted me during that moment. And she said, I don't have money for medication for my aunt who's 90 and she has no one to take care of her. Do you know someone who can help? Now, at that moment, I felt really bad. I felt that I'm spending money buying toys for my kids and there's someone who's really in need for medication. And it didn't feel right. It felt that there are things that are more important than me spending money on puzzles. Maybe we can create our own puzzle at home. So I called my daughter and I said, listen, I need you to read something in my chat box. And she said, what? I said, look, there's someone who's in need of medication. Do you think this is more important or our puzzle is more important? She said, couldn't you just deal with it and say no? Could you not really spare me the details? It makes me feel bad. I don't want the puzzle anymore. So we stopped paying the puzzle and we contributed to buy the medication for that person. So prioritization is really, really something very important. It allows you to be efficient, dynamic. It allows you to have faster solutions. It allows your kids to know what is more important in life. It allows your team at work to know what matters most. And you have to make that clear. You have to make that communicated with everyone. Therefore, in prioritization, you have to know that. You have to be dynamic, really willing to change your status instantly whenever you're facing something new. You have to have fast solution because you have no time. You need to apply high levels of adaptability to cope with the things needed on time. For example, if I gave okay for the medication 2 weeks later, this might not be efficient. I needed to give an approval instantly. I need to take advantage of the situation. There must be something good about COVID-19. I think in a lot of aspects, it's a blessing in disguise. And we need to consider different perspectives. Different people see things from different perspectives. There's no right and wrong. There are different people in different circumstances. And every time we take a decision, we have to consider the perspectives, the people, and where they stand, because it's always about the people. Step number 4, after we have prioritized, is to organize. And how do you organize that? It's time for you to write a plan. So now you have prioritized. You know that medication is more important than puzzle. You know that your team need to have salaries at the end of the month instead of you going to the Bahamas, and you can't go to the Bahamas. And therefore, you need to write your plan. How do we write the plan? First of all, in order of priority, by very clear and very concise steps, and get your team. You have time steps, and I'm sure all of you, or most of you, are done with the SMART goals, and we're going to just pass through them very quickly for you just to realize that everyone will need SMART goals in life at some point. And therefore, we will move to step 5. Step 5 that deals with the actual, yes, my camera is going off and on. I don't know why, okay. So SMART goals. What are SMART goals? Just for you to have a quick notion of them, just in case you forgot them or are not familiar with that term. SMART goals means every action you take in life. Okay. Do we need to repeat step 4? Okay. Can you hear me? Can I have you in the chat box? Okay. Excellent. Okay. Let's go back to step 4. Where we talk about organization, and we said to organize, you need to write your plan by order of priority in a very clear and concise steps. They need to be actual steps, and they need to be very clear. They need to be time framed. So you have to say that to be able to accomplish that, I will be needing 2 weeks or 2 hours. You have to have a set time limit for that. And you have to remember the SMART goals. SMART goals mean everything you do in life needs to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time limited. You cannot just say, I want to become the most famous person on earth. You need to take action steps for that. And to do that, you have to write your plan in very clear action steps, baby steps, small steps, achievable steps. So here we go. So whenever we're writing our plan, of course, on a personal and on a professional level, we're facing many things. For example, for now, we might be facing fear, anxiety, uncertainty. We might be experiencing a new lifestyle. We never thought of washing our hands that often, seriously, and of washing all the items we're buying. We might be having to relocate our house because it's easier for us to commute. On a professional level, we might be facing problems managing our responsibilities remotely, managing our people from our home. We might be facing problems in communication. So all of this is putting us in face of a lot of barriers that we might be able to find solutions for if we plan properly. So step 5 is when you start writing your plan. And as you remember, I said that the first 5 steps are going to be the steps that are going to be cornerstones for your plan. From now on, the practical part, and I really want you to start writing down your practical part when you plan. These are the actual and the skills you need to acquire in order for you to plan a crisis. Not just any crisis, this crisis in specific. Okay, pressing on something that is making my camera go off. So step number 5 is action step application. Yes, I'm back. I'm off. Let's see. Okay, practical examples might include, for example, first of all, because we might be facing fear of health problems or health issues, the first thing to think about is, what if my insurance plan is not covered, does not cover COVID-19? And I wanted to call my insurance company and to make sure that my insurance plan is working for COVID-19. Because at first, this is what I have to deal with. This is my basic concern. Is my health okay? In order for me to be efficient, I need to really close those gaps that are keeping my brain working. So I called the insurance company, said, are you covering my COVID-19 in case I get any? They said, okay, we're working on it and it's not yet published, but we surely will, and it's going to be announced by next week. So this is the health issues that I covered. In order for you to cover your insecurities, your fear, and your anxiety, you need to take action. I cannot sit at home and say, أول كون رح يسكروا لي COVID-19. أول كون إذا فتت على المستشفى, the government is gonna do that. So in case you do not have a plan A ready, you need to directly consider your contingency plan, which is plan B and plan C. Do I have enough money to cover my COVID-19 in case I'm admitted to a hospital because of that? Is the government going to cover that? So you need to answer questions, and those answers will lead you to take action steps. And you need to take action steps for you to be more efficient in later steps. And therefore, you do the same for every concern you have. Every concern you have on your action plan needs to be addressed instantly. This is times of crisis. You cannot sit and just watch Netflix. You need to take action. So on a more specific level and on a higher scale, in case you covered your health, your food, your loved ones, you're sure everyone is okay, you started actually enjoying Netflix, you need to consider needs that are a bit on a higher scale, like, for example, activities that you planned and postponed forever. Me wanting to have a handstand yoga has been my goal since 2019. This year, I was planning on doing it, and then we were faced with COVID-19. What I had to do is that I had to register for an online yoga course where it was really meant to teach how to have a handstand, because I'm not going 2020 without a handstand. So therefore, try to tackle issues that are on a bit deeper level in case you have your worries, your uncertainties, your anxiety, your fear, in case you are over that, or you have at least managed to find, I think, try your because now we have a new situation, and you being responsive to that is really very, very important. Okay? So therefore, I want you to consider having a vision board. And I'm sharing my personal vision board because everyone is here and we're sharing the same situation, and I wanted to go personal on this one. So this is my personal vision board. These are the goals I have set for 2020, and I'm insisting on doing them even though we have COVID-19. So I have a lot of soft skills training abroad. I went to Paris in 2020 for that, for work. And I had a lot of trips planned, but due to COVID-19, we had to change that. And my contingency plan plan B and plan C were to do them online using Zoom, using any other platform, but I had a plan C, D, and a plan Z, because you need to have very quick responses to what you're facing. LAU was definitely on my top of my to-do list for 2020, top of my goals. Having a healthy lifestyle, the yoga stand again, it's my thing for 2020. I want my kids to be happy. I want to keep my hiking group, Good Morning Lebanon, and to invest more in that. And on my work thing, I'm working with an open government organization with my public administration, so we can be more transparent. I'm working on a GIS system, and we're working on having all transactions transferred into a digital mode. And of course, I want to invest more in my friendship, because through the tough times that I have witnessed, my friends were there for me, and I wanted to appreciate that they're there for me. Most of them are watching me right now also. So thank you for that. Okay, so have your own vision board. Have it in front of you. Just have a clear idea about what you're doing, what matters the most. Step 6 is communication. I cannot do all of this without communicating it to my family, to my colleagues, to my team, to the people watching me. I need to communicate that. I need to make sure that everyone is on the same page. We're all sharing the same message. We're all sharing the same ideas. We're all following the same action steps. When it comes to teams and family, on a personal level, it's your own thing. Yoga handstand, it's your own thing. I don't have to make my family stand on their hands, but if you have bigger goals, this is where you have to involve everyone. So on communication level, you have to have, especially in crisis, you have to have one message and one voice. We cannot have chaos in crisis. We need to really handle our crisis in a very efficient and a very practical way. And to do that, we have to include team members. We have to include everyone, the family, the kids, the parents, everyone who's involved in your plan has to be there. We have to have one message, one voice, and you have to assume leadership on a personal level. We're going to discuss this notion of leadership in a bit, but I want you to know that in times of crisis, you are assumed to be leader. You are assumed to be leader in terms of you are responsible for your actions. Your actions will affect others. We are leaders. Every one of us is a leader in times of crisis. And finally, you have no choice but to make a choice. You cannot go forever analyzing the situation. In crisis, you have to have a choice made instantly. And therefore, we have to go to step 7. Because whenever you communicate what you're doing and you involve your team and you involve your staff and you involve your family, we're no longer going to sit in our PJs and wait for Netflix to have a new series of anything. No, we're going to go there and we're going to be more efficient and we're going to have a real vacation when this is over. So whenever you communicate that this is not working and this is the new plan, people will collaborate more. People will be more involved in what you're trying to achieve. So you delegate. In crisis, we delegate. We usually delegate in any plan. We delegate responsibilities, we delegate tasks, we delegate research. But in crisis specifically, we need to delegate. We have no choice. Why? Because people, we will delegate tasks. We will tell each person what to do because we are assuming leadership and we are communicating what is more important and what is at stake. So in crisis, delegate. Use anything you have and you'll be more efficient. Step 8 in crisis, you have to let your actions speak for you. Don't be overwhelmed with the situation to a degree that you cannot work, but you're spending your time just communicating. Communicate what is just necessary and what is important for you to complete your plan. But first, let your actions speak for you. What does it mean, let your actions speak for you? Under crisis, people usually tend to make promises under pressure, especially politicians. Whenever they face any crisis, they tend to make promises they cannot keep. even not under crisis, but usually under crisis more. They tend to make promises they cannot keep, and this is because they're under pressure. They want to show everyone that we're up to the standard and we're facing the situation. Make sure you make no promises under pressure. Step number 2, create discipline through clear guidelines. Everyone has to be involved in clear guidelines. You have to build trust to lead better. What does it mean? It means if they trust you, they will collaborate with you. How do they trust you? Now let me check my chat box because I'm not being able to see everyone. Okay. Okay, step 7 is delegation, right? Yes. Okay. Okay. I can't see any specific questions at the moment. Therefore, I'm going to continue and assume that we're going to discuss all your questions at the end. We have to build trust to lead better, of course. If they do not trust you, they will not be able to follow. They will not follow. They will not accept to follow. They need to trust you, and therefore your actions have to speak for you. You cannot have words and promises and plans that are not communicated and that are not smart. Smart being not achievable, not attainable, not time frame. So if a leader comes now and says, or someone in charge and comes now and says, we're going to be done by COVID-19 in 3 weeks. Do I trust that person? Is the message clear, yes or no? So building trust to lead better is very important. Have a very clear protocol for actions and procedure, just like LAU did. LAU sent you an invitation over social media, emails. They use many means to send you the invitation for the unlocked series of the knowledge unlocked. And then you had to take action, and the action was really organized. You had to register, and then they'll send you the link. That's simple. And this has to be the same for every situation. Have clear guidelines on what should be done and the procedure. Step 9. Are you ready for step 9? You have to establish the right mindset. And when we say the right mindset, it goes to perception. What does it mean it goes to perception? It means every person sees the situation from their point of view. Let's see, who's ready for step 9? Okay. Hi, Hussein, you're ready for step 9. Who else is ready for step 9? Hey, Wadia, thank you for being ready. Got it. Hi, Yorgo, thank you. Okay, Christina, thank you for joining. Yes. Were you okay with the first 8 steps? Was it clear for everyone? If you have any questions, we'll deal with them. Hey, Cindy. Okay. So step 9 is having the right perspective and the right mindset. And what does it mean to have the right perspective and the right mindset? It means you being prepared for crisis, for a situation, for any plan you plan to execute. And step 10 is leadership. But before going to leadership, let's see the right mindset. Right mindset means stretching your mind to be flexible enough to accept new facts and deal with them objectively. يعني ما في أنا أقول إنه okay, I have to stretch my muscles best. Your brain has to be stretched as well. Something that you did not accept before will now become something you're dealing with. And this will make you stronger. Having the right mindset will help you to go further in life, will help you to have clear decisions. يعني أنا كنت أقول إنه ولا نهار رح نقطع بهيدا الشيء. ما حدا منا كان بيتخيل إنه COVID-19 رح يكون هالقد عنده رح يكون هالقد افيكاس ورح مش افيكاس رح يكون هالقد عم بيزعجنا ورح يكون هالقد رح يوقف لنا حياتنا. يعني ما حدا كان بيتخيل إنه 100 years after that إحنا we're facing something like plague مثلا. لا, it could happen to you. A car crash can happen to you. You have to have the right mindset to accept the new information, new facts, and deal with them instantly. If you postpone that, you're going to be really lacking behind everyone else. So have the right mindset. Stretch your mind, accept new ideas. Be ready to stop investing in wrong choices instantly. What was step 1? We'll go back to step 1 in a while. I'll repeat everything. I hope you can hear me. Can you please hear me? Yes, I will go back to step 9. Okay, excellent. Did you miss anything other than step 9 and 1? Okay, oh, good, great. I'm sorry, I'm on my 3G, but you know, this is Lebanon. Okay, step 9. Are you ready for step 9? Let's go back. Having the right mindset. Having the right mindset says that you have to be flexible enough to accept, deal with them instantly. ما في اقعد وضلني اقول يا الله صار هيك ويا الله صار هيك وما في وشو بدي اعمل هلا. I'm panicking. I have no solution. It could not happen to me. I did not imagine in a zillion years that this could happen to me. It could happen to you. Start having that mind that will say, it could happen to me, it might happen to me, and I will be ready for that. Okay, this is you having the, because many people, just to prove themselves right and for the sake of their ego, keep on investing resources, time, and everything just for the sake of them proving to be right. So whenever you acknowledge that your decision was not the right one, please stop investing in wrong choices. Have the courage to say, this was a wrong choice and I'm stop investing. Voice. Anyone else having a problem with voice? Can you hear me? Someone is saying that they cannot hear me. Okay. Okay, you can hear me. Great. Okay, so this is why please stop investing in wrong decisions. Stop. Okay, now it's better. Thank you. Stop investing in wrong decisions. Stop spending resources and time in decisions that were proved to be wrong. Acknowledge that you have made the wrong decision and stop there instantly. Update early and often. In crisis, we need to be updated 24/7 on a minute basis, not on a daily basis. We cannot lag behind. Yes, we can give those slides at the end, but please keep your questions at the end because I want to answer each and every one of them. So in crisis, we need to be updated early and often. We need to keep on updating our information, our circumstances, our status. We cannot keep things for, we cannot be passive. We have to be active. Asked you to be proactive, you need to be active in crisis. And make sure you give yourself no excuses. Now, if my mom is watching, she will not like this, but I give myself no excuses. There are no excuses for what you want to accomplish. If plan A doesn't work, the alphabet has a lot of other letters. Use plan B, use plan C, plan D, plan Z, plan G. Use any plan you want. Just have a plan, okay? Enough to say, I don't know at the moment. If you're hesitant or you don't have enough information, Robin, do we still have problems with the sound? Can you hear me? Let me know if you're hearing me. Okay, great, excellent. So therefore, give yourself no excuses. Go to plan any plan you want, but have a plan. And the plan can change any moment. And this is you having the right mindset to really adapt to any new circumstance, to any new problem, to raise up to any new situation or any new given that you're just facing at the moment. Have the courage to say, I don't know at the moment, but we'll let you know as soon as we can. And finally, one of the most important characteristics and skills that you need to acquire is step 10 in you being your own personal leader. You have to assume leadership. As we said before, you cannot sit back and say, I will let others deal with it. You have your own responsibilities. Your choices today will really set your plan for maybe for the rest of your life or for the upcoming period at least. And you have to assume leadership. You have to assume personal leadership. You are now a pillar. Okay, can you hear me, guys? Let me know in the chat box if you can hear me so I can move on. Okay, everyone can hear me? Great, excellent. Yay! Hey, Nijat. Hey, Dana. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Rana. Thank you, Batul. Okay, so do you want me to go back to step 10 from the beginning? Yes, please. Okay, so step 10 talks about personal leadership. We have to assume personal leadership. You are now the pillar of your family, of your team, of anyone who who is counting on you. And this is why you have to remind yourself of the oxygen mask. This is very important. When we used to travel, they used to tell us, please wear your oxygen mask. What does it mean to wear your oxygen mask? It means you have to be okay before being able to produce or to be efficient or to give support to others. So please make sure that you are okay first. You cannot help others if you are lacking oxygen. On a plane, they even tell you, even if you have your kids, wear your oxygen first. Yes, breathe first. Thank you, Gita. You have to breathe first. We breathe and then we give others the chance to breathe, or not the chance, we give them the opportunity to breathe, because if I'm suffocating, I will not be able to help. Make sure you're breathing first. Always remember the oxygen mask on a plane. Thank you, Silvana. So you're the pillar of your family. They are really relying on you in times of crisis. You have to have self-control and you have to have logical reasoning. And we can't just have self-control and have logical reasoning. And here I will stop for a minute to share something I love, which is the volcano exercise. Sharbil, can we have the camera back on, please? Because I have to explain my volcano in visuals as well. Can we try having the camera back on? So the volcano exercise is very important, and I wanted you to see me when I give the volcano exercise. The volcano exercise says that whenever you're facing a problem, imagine that on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being a volcano, how important is that? Like, let's say I have la samaha COVID-19 today, and someone is telling me a volcano is being erupted behind you. Will I think of COVID-19? Of course not. I will just be running away, just trying to find a way to escape the volcano, and COVID-19 will seem like just another walk on the street. So this is why you have to really have logical reasoning. And for you to have that, to have self-control, you have to have the volcano exercise in your pocket every moment. Just think of it on a scale of 0 to 10. Anything that happens to you, a fight with your wife, a fight with your kid, you fighting your mother to give excuses or not give excuses, you say to yourself, on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being a volcano, is this really important? A fight with someone on the street, someone is honking nonstop behind you because he's late to work, on a scale of 0 to 10, is this really important? Yes or no? You rate it. And then you think about it. No, and you will start, actually I start laughing sometimes, and people wonder why I'm laughing. They might think that this woman is not really logical, because they will fight with me for no reason. And then I will say, on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being a volcano, will this matter? No, it won't, okay? So remember, you're the pillar, you have to have logical reasoning. Yes, I smile usually too. Thank you, Silvana. I have someone on my fan club. And remember, it's always about the people, whether in a plan, in a crisis, not in a crisis, it's always about the people. COVID-19 is about the people, and we're losing a lot of people, and this is what's hurting us. We might lose ourselves, we might lose our loved ones, but having a plan to deal with that, not with the losses and everything, but to deal with the collateral damages we're having is very important. Leadership is love in action. This is what Michael Cooley says. And I want you to remember, anything you do is going to be paid back for you. So do it forward, pay it forward. Remember, it's about the people, and remember that leadership is your actions. Your actions will speak for you. These are the 10 steps. I will be glad to share it with my department, and my department will make it available if it's possible. But as I said before, we're going to share with you a practical plan that I would really would love for you to have that. So if you like to share that, and I really wanted to keep the name Action Plan sponsor, because you need to have an action plan and you need to sponsor it. Okay, you need to sponsor your plan. You have to invest time to set action plans. So what is the desired outcome? What do I have to do? For example, for me, I would like to conduct 10 webinars or 10 interactive workshops من هلا لآخر April. How can I do that? I will start writing. First week of April, second week of April, I will contact my friend. I will contact the company I used to work for. I will advertise. So you need to have really very baby steps for every action you want to make, from the smallest detail to the most desirable outcome, and follow the SMART. They have to be very measurable, they have to be specific, they have to be attainable. And now I will stop talking and just take your question. Yes, small but solid steps. I can have your questions now. I can stop sharing my screen and have your questions. Okay, step number 1 is realizing the current situation. What am I currently facing? Am I currently facing risks? Am I going to be at risk in the future? So assessing the current situation will help you lead the way. You need to have proper steps. Okay, this is step 1. How can we ensure through our plans? You need to stop every week. You need to stop. And as I said, you need to stop making wrong decisions. So you need to value the decision you make, or evaluate the decision you made versus the outcomes. Is it going in the right direction, yes or no? Thank you, Sarah. How can we involve our kids with our goals and action plan? Excellent question. I involve my kids in everything. You just have to be honest. Now, honesty and communication is, of course, your kids will not have the same mindset as you, but you need to involve them through communication. You need to explain to them in a logical way why we're doing this. Never say because I said so. Say because it's na, because لأنه هيك وهيك وهيك. Give them logical reasoning. Whenever you give them logical reasoning, they will follow. They will not be able to really say something that is not logical. They will just follow your logical reasoning. You're welcome, Amani. Thank you. Perfect. Yes, you're on the right track. I bet so. Do you have questions? Thank you. Sherbet, do you have any questions for me? You're welcome. Thank you. Going to have the slides? Mr. Azar, are we going to share the slides? It's with Mr. Azar. You have to talk to him. Thank you. It was nice having you too. Thank you. Okay, Robin, would you like to add anything?
Yes, I think I was going to say that Sharbel was telling everybody that we will be sharing some of these recorded sessions towards the end of the month. I think we will have them on our LAU YouTube channel so that you can access everything from there. Okay, excellent. So we're going to send the link to everyone so they can see the session again. Perfect. Okay, it seems that this is a wrap. Thank you for joining. Robin, I will leave the floor to you. And it was really a pleasure meeting everyone, even if it's online, but we're passing through crisis and we'll make it through. Thank you.
Indeed, Amjad, thank you for your time, for the wonderful efforts as well, the session, the information. Honestly, Kaman, I want to thank everybody for pulling through this session. We have had some connection problems throughout the session today, but I was actually quite happy to see anybody who got kicked out in the session went straight back in. Everybody was actually able to hold on to, and they seem to be actually wanting to listen to what you actually had to say. So promise guys, and we will have the session, the recorded session up online for you guys in no time. Yeah, in the meantime, enjoy your long weekend, and hopefully we'll get to see you on Monday again. I do believe quickly I can remind you guys, next week we have sessions that do not necessarily pertain to the COVID-19 crisis as well. Let me just quickly, we have sessions pertaining to how to respect your time, so time will actually end up respecting you. We're going to talk about coronavirus and food again. We're going to talk about the positive impact actually of the COVID-19 virus on the environment itself. So that should also be interesting. And we're going to end up next week's session by another psychology faculty talking about managing stress and anxiety during this period. So please take care of yourselves, stay safe, and would love to see you again next week. Yeah, bye-bye. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Sharbu. Thank you, everyone.